Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to CowTech with me, your host, Zack Cater, episode number 4 tonight. A lot of you guys could probably be watching a bunch of big dudes beat each other up on the gridiron, but you're choosing to log in here with me and check out some RC maintenance, and I greatly appreciate it tonight. So, guys, appreciate all you chiming in already. RC4us already on it, man. If you guys are tuning in from YouTube, please like and subscribe to the channel. Helps out greatly. The same thing, guys tuning in from Facebook, share this episode out. Help get us out there in that algorithm. What's going on? Hello. Good evening, Mr. Ghost. Thank you for tuning back in, buddy. The intro video. Thanks, man. I did that for a content submission a long time ago. Never thought I'd be using it for intro for a show. So good evening, way better than the Super Bowl. My kind of guy. Heath, the man himself, right there with us tonight. Dino, what's up, buddy? So guys, thank you all for tuning in here tonight. Again, greatly appreciate it. Going to basically be covering shock maintenance tonight and storage options through CowRC, what Cow can do to help you get to and from the track, help keep you guys organized with all of your gear. Happy Sunday to you guys. What's going on, fellas? Yes, Jason, going to be basically doing shock rebuilds. I've got one shock that I kind of damaged at SIC, and I've kept it off to the side. So I'm going to rebuild that live tonight and go over it. Like and share, guys. Help us all out, man. It's greatly appreciated. So check out what's latest with CowRC. I'm going to pull this up. Don't forget the Operation 11 Charlie build. That rig should be given away by the end of this month. If you go to the CowRC page, that body that you see on there, that is the custom body that will come with that rig, and it looks absolutely amazing. So keep in mind, those tickets are just $1 to get a shot in to win those. The next episode you guys see with Adam and Tyler should have the Operation 11 Charlie guys on that show. And if I'm not mistaken, they're going to showcase this new body too, so you guys can actually see it live and in person. A couple other little things that I had noticed. The new Jet Blaster Minis right here. This is the updated version. They are available for pre-sale, so you guys can take advantage of that. Save yourself a little bit of coin, as well as the folding screw boxes or the folding micro boxes. The skins are available for these, as well as, get the mouse off here, as well as all of these boxes should be going out. I know these were held up in customs for a very long time, but these guys should be getting out to you guys and in your hands very soon. And I'm going to go over these boxes some more here after a little while when I get into the storage side of things from CowRC. Scotty, my man right there, Coon Dog. I done him bad yesterday racing. I left him at the altar when I was supposed to be pitting for him, running nitro, and I felt so bad. Mini Jet Blasters look epic. Absolutely. I have the original Jet Blaster Mini, and they are a wonderful little powerhouse for just keeping your pit area clean. I love the low power output for them for drying off bearings like I showed in the last episode. So definitely take advantage of the upgraded Jet Blaster Minis. I think it's 33% more power, battery life, but still in the nice, same small package size. So super portable. So guys, pull this up here. What I got in front of me, this is my one bad shock. Basically at SIC, I hit something wrong and basically pulled the shock shaft out of the lower joint, ended up trashing the seal down in the bottom of it. So I've got some brand new seals to go in the bottom of the shock, get this thing cleaned up, ready to go back in, because I keep 2 sets of shocks with me because I have 2 different valves. So when I was at the race, I kind of robbed Peter to pay Paul because nobody had any of these seals available. So I'm going to pull this apart tonight and show you guys how to basically clean, rebuild using the CowRC Udder Butter and the Moose Slick Silicone will be my two main ingredients for doing this. So hope you guys stick around, enjoy the show. And again, once I'm done with doing the shock rebuilding, we're going to get into storage. So without further ado, don't forget, before I forget, down at the bottom, use the code CowTech at checkout. Save your guys some money again that way too. Don't forget the CowTech codes. Not a whole lot of other real news and updates, so let's get right down into it, guys. And I will pull this up and make it a little bit bigger on y'all so you guys can get right down into the action. There we go. So now that you guys know what I'm going to be using, I'm just going to set them off to the side to have a little bit more workspace for you guys. And most of you guys probably have a very similar style shock, and really not a whole lot of anything special to a Mugen shock, but that is what I'm using. These are Mugen MBX8Rs. So I'll get this thing tore apart. Hopefully show you guys what happened to this one as I throw my tools everywhere. And we'll get down into it, and I'll show you guys how I bleed my shocks out. There's the guy, Johnny Miller. What's going on, buddy? Thanks again for tuning in tonight. Greatly appreciate it. And again, this was a shock body that I'd robbed, pulled out another shock body because nobody had these seals. But there's no fluid inside of this shock, obviously. So basically the way you do is go ahead and pull the shock all the way down. We're going to strip it down to absolutely nothing and then start building our way back up. But hope you guys have all had a great weekend so far. I was fortunate enough to get out, do some racing down in Loganville, Georgia yesterday. Take advantage of this wonderful southern weather we're having right now of mid-70s. And this shock boot's already got a little bit of a tear in it, but what I'll do is just take my little pick, be very ginger, roll my boot on out of here, get this down to nothing. Mr. White, what's happening, brother? Thanks for tuning in tonight, man. I'd imagine you being down in the Florida area, you probably got a little bit nicer weather than us up here. So you can go ahead from here, pull this on out. And I know this shock shaft is still good. I didn't bend anything on it, luckily. But down here at the bottom, underneath your cap, you pull it off. What happened with this one was basically this bottom bushing. Hopefully this will pick up and focus for you guys enough. It may not pick up too well, but there's a big old flat spot where it kind of got wallered out. And same thing, if you don't keep up with your shocks, you don't necessarily have to have any kind of impact damage for these to get worn out. They'll just eventually wear out over time. But go ahead, pull this all out. This one's actually kind of stuck in here. And the same thing, every shock for the most part, you're going to have your bushings and spacers. And honestly, I could probably get by with running these O-rings again. But we're going to go ahead and just replace everything and strip this body down to nothing. Let's see. Rob Hines. Really hate working on shocks, especially the desert levers I have on my crawler. Coilovers on my slash aren't too bad, no. Well, fortunately for us guys that are 8 scale, these things are pretty easy to take apart, pretty easy to service. A little bit messy sometimes, but we can get around that. What's going on, John? Thank you again for tuning in tonight, everybody. Greatly appreciate it. So once you've got everything tore down, basically there's a couple of ways that you can clean your shocks as well. Like this one's got oil on it, and I kind of mentioned this about like doing bearings with the parts and chassis wash in the ultrasonic cleaners. you're really not going to get this oil off your shock bodies using the parts and chassis wash, because it's not a chemical cleaner degreaser. Ideally, you want to use the Move Clean electrical cleaner and degreaser. It'll cut any oil off of here. And also another option, like if you have a shock that's not coated in oil, but you just want to kind of get the dirt off of it and clean up in between, is the cow snot. And I'll kind of demonstrate this when I get it back together. But if you haven't used the cow snot yet, this stuff conforms incredibly well in between areas. So you can literally take it when you take a glob off and work it in between the coils of your springs to help keep your shocks clean and keep that dirt buildup down on them. So I'll kind of show that when I go together with it. But from there, once you've got your shock all disassembled, we're just going to grab our new bushings and spacers and O-rings. And what I'm going to be using on the O-rings is the CowRC udder butter. Udder butter has a multitude of uses, from obviously the shock O-rings to the threaded ends of your shock where it goes down into the bottom hind. The same thing with your turnbuckles where you have a metal component threaded into something plastic. The udder butter will keep it from sticking. It'll keep it moving nice and smooth. On top of, you know, your ring and pinion sets and your diffs, big area where it's obviously used. So udder butter is very versatile. Has great tack, minimal sling off. I can get my fingers to work and dig these out of here. Got one more to go. Cow snot is awesome. Great, man. I absolutely love to hear it. It seems to be a very popular product. I've been using it. Definitely love the cow snot for cleaning my radios. It gets into every last little nook and cranny. All right, guys, I got one more little spacer to get out of here. Guess I probably could have done that before I started the show. Oh, where'd he go? Robert, I didn't want to pass you by, man. I saw you in there. Thanks again for tuning in, Robert, man. Hopefully see you guys in a couple of weeks down at the Augusta RC Complex. Love the product names. Cow snot is definitely fitting along with the udder butter. So we go. We got our basic, you know, our empty body here. And udder butter comes in basically 3 sizes plus the sample pack sizes. What I have in front of me here, this is the 8-ounce tub that I have been using for pushing 2 years now, and there is still a incredible amount of butter left in it. There's also the big boy 2-pound tubs, as well as the 40 milliliter syringes, which are a popular option as well. Me, I'm a fan of the tubs, using it for a long time. So basically just to remember the order that you took everything apart, or consult your kit diagrams if you need to for how all your spacers and O-rings go back together. But with your O-rings, you don't really need a whole lot. Just, you know, a little dab on your fingers. Just kind of roll it around. You know, right there is all you need. Doesn't take a whole lot of product at all. And keep in mind, udder butter is waterproof. So if you're out by chance in the dirt, or if you're someone that does like to run your shocks through an ultrasonic cleaner, as long as you keep them, you know, maintained with udder butter, you're not going to have to worry about any kind of fluid really getting inside your shocks. Grab a rag right quick. The first time I saw somebody use an ultrasonic cleaner on their shocks, I was like, there's no way I'm going to do that, about, you know, having fluid seep into my shock oil. But then I've actually tried it, and again, udder butter, and make sure, you know, your cap's sealed. You got no issues with it. But another thing, depending on, you know, if you're using some other kind of product for your O-rings, be aware that there are chemicals out there, different types of greases that can make your O-rings actually swell, and it will cause poor fitment. You can also cause a little bit of excess resistance for that seal swelled in. You can actually induce a leak with it, but udder butter is perfectly safe for O-rings, so it's not going to swell them up. You're not going to have that issue with it. And then lastly, our brand new bushing down in the bottom. Let's pop it in. The syringe style, yeah, absolutely. That's very popular. I know a lot of guys use the syringe style. Makes it really convenient for you, especially if you don't like getting all messy on your fingers. Merle, what's up, brother, man? Thanks for tuning in tonight, man. Greatly appreciate it. Good solid run for you as well yesterday, sir. But from there, now your O-rings are all nice. They're well protected with the udder butter. Just put your cap back on. And now, the bottom of your shot is ready to go. And from there, got a little bit of oil left on this shock shaft. Just going to kind of wipe it off. And now this is the one part that I really can't show in real time, but I'm going to explain it to you and demonstrate it to you the best that I can. Along with the udder butter, a fantastic way to keep your shocks moving nice and free without any kind of binding while resisting as much dirt and dust buildup as possible is with the silicone, the Moose Slick silicone. You get a nice coating of silicone on your shock shaft, and it's just going to make it velvety smooth. But I'm going to stop right here and make this point. You really need to let the shock shaft sit. Don't just spray the silicone on, which is what I'm about to do. So this is just a disclaimer. Don't just spray the silicone on and shove it right back into the shock. That silicone needs time to actually set up and build that coating of silicone on it. Basically, when it's still wet, it hasn't cured. As soon as you push it through the shock body, you're just wiping all of that off and you're losing all the benefits of the Moose Slick silicone. I use a toothpick to put a layer of udder butter on the outside of my bearings. That's interesting. I'd have imagined, Mr. Ghost, you probably run more indoor than outdoor. Would be my guess with the udder butter on the bearings is about dirt sticking to the udder butter. But basically, we take our Moose Slick silicone right here. And again, the 12x16 carbon mat is what I prefer. And one big thing, whether you're using the Moose Slick silicone on a shock shaft or you're doing an all-over coating on your buggy, truggy, whatever, before a race day, you don't have to go really heavy with it. Just a nice light coating. So I'll roll it around, hit the other side. That's it. And again, the same with all the aerosol cans, the pressure sensitive nozzles. You can see, I kind of went heavy with the first, but you can just barely push and you get a nice light coating. So from here, this is the point where you would want to let your shock shaft just sit and let that silicone cure and do its thing. Nope, all outdoor normally is wet. Oh, Oregon, okay, yeah. You guys got that wet weather stuff going on, man. Interesting. So from there, and with the silicone, on the threads of the shaft, as well as that coating of udder butter on the O-rings, I don't really worry about anything else, like the threads hurting the O-rings, because everything's already well coated when you go through to push it in for the first time. But again, I'm going to reiterate it. Once you spray the tongue twister, man, shock shaft with the silicone, let it sit, go about, do whatever else you got to do, but just let the shock sit. And as we push through, you can see that last little bit of udder butter that was in the middle of those O-rings, just the excess that gets pushed out. So you have very minimal wasted product. And push your shaft on through. And honestly, that last little bit of udder butter that's in those threads, I'm just going to leave that on there for when I screw in the bottom of my shock joint to help keep that just nice and smooth. The same thing if I ever need to pull the shocks out on a race day, I need to change a valve, I have a bent shaft, anything like that, it's just going to come apart that much easier for you. So from there, slide our boot back on. Once it's done pushed itself inside out on me. Sorry guys, I'm trying to make sure I keep my hands out the way as much as possible so you guys can actually see what's going on. So work your boot back on there. And I'll give you guys one other little tip when it comes to the bottom of these shocks. Again, I am going to put just a smidge, just a little smidge of udder butter on those threads to keep everything nice and smooth. So one thing to keep in mind, whenever you put your bottom heim joint on your shock, you actually don't want to just crank these things all the way down, because what will happen if you do is the shock shaft can push on that plastic enough that it will lock up this lower heim joint on here, and you want this to be able to move nice and free. Mr. Ghost, I put that extra on the threads as well. It helps keep them from rusting when running in wet and muddy conditions. Yeah, so again, the udder butter is waterproof, so that's actually a good point. Or if you have one that's just going to sit around on the shelf for a little while, keep everything nice and clean for you. So get my hands back in the camera, and what I'll show you, it's probably not going to come through that good on camera, but as you tighten down these lower joints, I'm going to run this thing all the way down to the bottom. In this lower heim, well, that's pretty tight right there. It doesn't want to move. You know, you can see how stiff it's wanting to move and jerk up. So basically, you can run this down till you start feeling that resistance, and then just back them off slightly. And now that lower heim is nice and free. So one less area to cause bind. And then simply from there, we'll move this out of the way. That's it for the udder butter. Again, udder butter can be used on diff cases, turnbuckle threads, rod ends, O-rings, wherever, man. Just so many great uses for it. Yes, sir, Mr. Ghost, you are welcome. I'm going to try to give you guys as many tips and tricks as I can along the way. Wipe this little bit of excess off. But again, I'll reiterate it one more time. Let the Moose Slick silicone sit on those shock shafts. Don't just put it all straight together. You know, let it sit there and actually cure. So from there, I'm going to throw this again in here. I'm going to throw some fluid in it right quick and give you guys how I basically do some very simple bleeding with my shocks. Because I do run emulsion style, so no bladders. I basically fill her on up until she's level or just slightly domed over with the fluid. I give it one simple pump. You guys can probably see, you know, the little bit of bubbles that come to the top. And again, if you're running emulsion style, you're already mixing air into the oil. Do not sweat trying to get every last little drop of oil or every last little bubble out. And slap your caps on. And depending on the caps that you use, you know, some will have a bleeder screw like this as well as one on the side. You'll get to a certain point, you're going to start pushing fluid out. The microfiber rags from CowRC are wonderful for this. Basically what I do is just kind of lightly cover up that hole in the side of the cap as I screw it together, because I'm just collecting that extra little bit of oil that's going to push out. In just 1 second. Always learn 2 tips from watching me. Hey, I absolutely appreciate it, man. If there's anything, you know, that's of value to you, it's a value to you, you know. So that's the name of the game, man. I try to help as many guys and gals out as I can. So just tighten down your cap. You're good to go. And I don't do the whole vacuum pump stuff, anything crazy like that. I simply do a one push straight down and then open my bleeders. And then you probably hopefully caught a little air bubble that pops out. And again, even like this, you've got that oil sitting on the shock cap. Talking about the parts and chassis wash. The parts and chassis wash, it's not going to cut that oil out when you're cleaning your shocks. You really want to use the electrical cleaner and degreaser for when you go to clean these guys. But from there, this is easy as that. You've got a nice dead shock. There's nothing that creeps out. Shock moves very nice and smooth. There's no binding. There's no resistance. Again, you got the udder butter down in the O-rings. The Move Slick silicone will make this move a little bit smoother if I actually let it sit and cure versus just slapping it together. But simple enough to keep your shocks, whether it's an 8th scale, 10th scale, rocking and rolling, running very smoothly. So I'll show you guys what I was talking about with the cow snot as well. Real quick pump. So there's our completed shock. Very simple, easy shock maintenance. That can be overlooked by people. So I was talking about with cow snot, for when you're wanting to do like a quick clean, you've actually got, a shock that hasn't leaked, hasn't had any issues with it, there's no oil on it. With cow snot, you can just pull yourself off a little chunk of it. And this stuff is fun to play with. But let me show you guys, like it conforms to everything. You can get right in between those springs, or the same thing if you're having issues with your shock adjusting collars. You've got dirt packed down on these. You've got dirt packed in the threads, and you've got that dust, and you're just trying to set your right height. You can get way past those springs. You don't have to disassemble your shocks or anything. So another option just for keeping your shocks up to snuff is using the cow snot. Let's see. Nice light coat of slick on the outer body will help keep her easy to clean as well. Absolutely, you can do it as you're assembling your shocks, getting ready to put them on. The last thing that I always do, got that. The last thing that I always do before a race is I give the entire buggy a once over coating with the Move Slick silicone. But as you're going along, building components to your buggies, truggies, you can definitely, add a layer to them. But again, the biggest thing with the silicone is let it sit. It does have a curing time. Mr. Ghost, do you have a problem with air bubbles in the shocks from not letting the oil sit for a while before putting the cap on? Mr. Ghost, no, because again, I run emulsion style emulsion. I gotta get a drink. Hang on. Getting bad tongue tied. No, because again, this is ran as an emulsion style shock, not a bladder style. A bladder has a valve that's completely sealed up here, literally a big chunk of rubber that separates the air in the top of the shock from the oil in the bottom. Versus emulsion style, you're mixing the air with the oil. They will build up pressure throughout a day of racing. But you kind of keep up with your bleeding routine throughout the day as it gets warmer, as it gets cooler. These compressor shocks, crack the bleeder screw on top, you get a little purge of air, and that's it. So no, when you're running emulsion style, air's already in there. You're mixing it with the oil. It's not an issue. So guys, that covers shock maintenance. Now we'll get moving along into storage options. So let me move this out the way. We're basically going to start from small and work our way up to big. Let's see, RC4s, I only run emulsion style shocks, only my 3S Armor, really. Probably comes you're going to them on RTR, easier to. I can tell you, emulsion is so much easier to bleed out and work with than bladders. And pretty much everybody that I know of in the off-road scene, as far as racing 8th scale, it's emulsion's the way to go. So actually, make this a little bit brighter for you guys. I'm going to slide this over. So starting with some storage options, RC4S, on it, man. You're the guy for it. Yeah, guys, don't forget, hit that like and subscribe button on YouTube. The same with Facebook. You know, share this out. It helps tremendously to get us out there in the algorithm. Lost my cap from a silicone almost. We're going to move that over. And let's bring this camera back up for you guys. There we go. So here we go. So the latest and greatest addition to the CowRC lineup of storage is the folding screw box. You guys, have seen me kind of mentioning this. These guys were held up in customs for a while, but again, these are out, and these guys should be getting to you ASAP, basically. But just a nice, simple folding box with multiple sized storage spots for it. And the perfect use for me for this in racing was actually using it to store all of my different pills, like for your ABCD blocks, as well as the shims for your upper and lower arms. Boxes just have a nice, simple little tab to open up. And when we were testing these things out, it was mostly on the sides. Whenever you want these to close back down all the way, just make sure you give them a nice positive little push and they clip in all the way. So probably do it with all four and I'll show you guys. But again, and the nice thing, these are actually pretty shallow little storage containers. So it makes it super easy to get your hand in there and just pull out whatever you need. Again, for me, like suspension pills. But again, when you close these side ones, you'll hear it click like one time, push a little bit more, and now it's all the way locked in. But give you guys a size reference, not much bigger than the size of a cell phone. So super easy, compact, and portable to take around with you. I have air bubbles. I might have to go to your saw to make it easier for me. Yeah, Mr. Ghost, if you're running emulsion saw, you're not running bladders, go for it, man. You're not going to have an issue on that part. Are they good for 1/5 bashers like Max? Mr. Ghost, are you referring to the box, the folding screw box, or are we still talking on shocks here? Let me know, man. I'll try to clarify as much as I can for you. But let's get here Thursday and can't wait. Right on. It's kind of a personal preference, Mr. Ghost. You try it and see. For us in racing off-road, emulsion style is generally just more consistent than bladders are. So, and don't forget with the folding screw boxes, there are the themed graphics available to go on either side of them. So whether you want to rock the Reaper, the Patriot, the Green Streak themes, all of those are now available for the folding screw boxes. So moving on up, I'm going to get into one of my favorite little boxes, and that is the micro screw box. This is the absolute jam for keeping all of your small hardware in place. Bob, no worries, man. Thank you for tuning in tonight. Greatly appreciate it, man. So with this little box, you have multiple little individual containers all sealed within one big box. Or actually, it's not a big box. This is actually pretty compact, not much bigger than the size of my hand. But for all of your small parts, your hardware, your 3mm screws, your 4mm screws and nuts, this box is fantastic for keeping that small stuff organized. And these come out, I'll try to pick a good one to show you guys, in just gangs of 4. There's 4 individual boxes all connected together, but each one of them is separate. So you have literally 4 separate compartments to go into. So if you have some damaged hardware or you're just freshening things up, you can simply pop open the one cap of whatever hardware you need, shake out however many you need, and good to go. And actually what's in this little case, this was like a 300-piece RC hardware kit I got off of Amazon that worked fantastic with this case. I had it just in a generic case before, but actually being able to break everything down, keep it all nice, neat, and organized, and you can actually fit a fairly long screw in here. Like, I'll pop this one open. It's not just, I have this great white mat in front of me that I could show it on versus holding it in my hand. But, you can actually fit a pretty lengthy screw in these boxes. Or the same thing, if you wanted to store, shock valves, if you have shocks that have adjustable rebound in them, and, the little flaps that sit on top of them, like MIPs or the rubber flaps. A great way to consolidate, keep all that stuff organized. I like how the box folds over. Yeah, and again, the folding box, everything seals very nice to them. Jason, they're incredibly handy. And again, the same thing, as far as racing, your chassis screws, on the bottom of the chassis, they get ground down over time. Those heads get really thin and razor sharp on the edges. You can go in before you have a head break and replace those. And this is just a nice, convenient way to keep everything organized. I mean, there's a lot of hardware you can fit in here. The same thing down. If you're one of those ones that's bad about losing body clips, again, plenty enough size to store body clips in them. So it's a very super compact little storage case that is an option from CowRC. And again, we went from baby bear to mama bear. Now we're going to get into Papa Bear. And that would be the dot box. This, to me, is the way storage should be for RC stuff. Multiple ways to customize this box as well. But the same thing, you have theme graphics you can get for all of these boxes. But let me put this camera up just a smidge. You notice the little dimples in the case. You're going to see it when I open this up. But those little dimples are all holding in individual little boxes inside. So, as you're going to and from the track, you're getting stuff bounced around. Everything stays right where you want it at. So, open this up here. And again, what I'm talking about, you see the little dimples on the inside of the case. These are all individual boxes in different sizes. This one did move around because it wasn't double stacked. But there's multiple size cases to basically go within the case. I've got another one. These are big enough to put hinge pins in for 8 scale. Oh, that's awesome. Definitely, the dot box cases are phenomenal. I love these things. But it comes with a handful of different size cases. This is actually big enough to fit a spur gear in for 8th scale buggy. And you can move these boxes around, however you want to customize how they stack in here. And they all come with a very gratuitous label sheet. So you can keep track of everything. Like I've got Tekin motor bearings, 3x12.8 pins for my drive shafts or for my CVs. The same thing, you guys saw me in the last episode talking about bearings. Those are my outer hub bearings. You can keep everything nice, neat, and organized. And You can even get down into some really small containers. So say, you do have some small specialty parts or some really small hardware, you can get down into these little guys. But my biggest use of this box is definitely keeping all my bearings organized. Stack them sideways so everything is viewable and not hiding underneath. Good and often unconsidered option. Okay, I've never even considered that either. So there you go. Heath dropping some knowledge for you guys tonight. But I think that's most of the different, I mean, there's a whole array of different sized boxes. And you can actually order all the individual boxes separately. So, if you really want to customize how everything lays down in here, and you're like, man, if I just had another box, of this size, or I really want a second bigger box, you can order those individual cases and customize this whole thing however you want it to be. And again, like for me, even if you've got bigger stuff, you've got something that doesn't fit in these boxes, this is a full set of 8th scale shocks will fit over here on, 1/3 of it. And if you look down at the bottom, I've got some sway bars down in here. So actually that goes on top. That's what is so amazing about these, is just the ability to put parts wherever you want, completely organize it out however you want, and not have it move around. Drop this back in here. And again, there you go. So you can split it up. You can still store your big parts in it if you want to, and still have a gratuitous amount of room for storing all your, smaller, medium-sized parts. And again, the clasp on these are really nice. They're a nice quality with a nice firm snap to them. But again, to and from the track, everything's getting beat around. No worries. You open it back up. Everything's right where you left it. Because again, the little dimples lock into the side of the boxes on the top and the bottom. And there's, I believe it's 3 different sizes of the dot box. This is the medium size box. Fits very well in like my Proline hauler bag, and it kind of has some smaller drawer shapes to them. But hands down, the best storage option that I have ever ran across. Absolutely love this box. So I'm going to slide him off to the side. Pull me up right here and check some comments. Mr. Ghost, absolutely. You can't go wrong with it. It is so customizable, so portable, doesn't take up a whole lot of room, but I love that ability to be able to stick larger items in one side while also still having storage for smaller stuff. You're not confined to just one or the other. Okay, Mr. I get this on my next order. Yeah, it's a great way to clean up those drawers, guys, and keep everything nice, neat, and organized and at the hand and ready for you. So I got one other thing that I'll show you guys. Let me pull some stuff off of here. And this is the big boy. This is going to be, a little interesting to kind of show. And honestly, I'm kind of winging it on how I'm going to show it. But that would be the CowRC duffel bags. Now I'm going to move this up here to kind of show you guys a better look at it. Obviously, the one that I have is the Factory Team Edition graphics. So that's not one that's available on the site with this, scheme on it, but you can still get the Patriot, the Reaper, the Green Streak. All the CowRC schemes are available on this bag. This is one item that does take a little bit longer to ship usually like 7 to 10 days, because it is kind of a third-party product that CowRC sells. But I'm going to show you guys some of the inside features of the duffel bags. And keep in mind, I was racing yesterday. I haven't totally unloaded this bag yet. For the most part, I keep everything in it that I take to the track. That's all of my CowRC stuff. So if I need, chassis wash, I need electrical cleaner, I need greaser, I need my tire cleaning stuff. It's all in the bag, ready to go. And I can always just grab the bag and take it. The Reaper bag, yeah, the bags are huge. I'm going to pull everything out of here that I've got. And there's still some room inside of it. One thing to note, though, guys, watch how much weight that you physically put in the bag, so you don't pull the shoulder strap, off. I did it. I'll be honest. I packed this thing so full of stuff. So if you are rolling heavy, definitely grab, the 2 center handle straps on it. So just keep that in mind if you're a shoulder strap guy. So I'm going to move this over here. So you guys can see I'm going to pull everything out of here. Again, I'm a little bit limited on room, what I have out here to showcase bigger items, but nice zippered top. You do have mesh storage compartments. On one side, you've got the killer CowRC graphic on the other side. And like everything that Cow does with the themes and the graphics, they look absolutely dynamite. But I'm going to pull everything out of here that I have in here just to show you guys and give you an idea of just how much space is in this colossal barn of a duffel bag, man. I need a zippered case to hold them also. For the boxes, that would be a pretty good idea, a small zippered case. So here we go, guys. And again, there's more room in here, but hide wipes always go to the track with me. And again, everything that's in here, this is always must-have items that I take to the track. They always go with me. So hide wipes. Again, some of you guys know with the Moo Clean Tire Wash, I dilute it down into a gallon jug of water. And I've had great results with that for keeping my tires clean and fresh. So the entire gallon. I'll move that off to the side. The USB sprayer, where I keep my parts and chassis wash in for cleaning in between rounds of racing and qualifiers. One thing to note, if you do put this in the duffel bag, you may want to remove the extended wand out and put the little short stubby cap on that comes with it. That way you don't bend or break the wand. I'm going to fill up my entire work area here. Again, 2-quart jug of pre-mixed chassis wash. I usually always keep that with me to have extra on hand so I can refill the USB sprayer. What else have we got in here? Move this out. Again, 1 Jet Blaster turbo. Again, always goes around with me. Absolutely have to have the Jet Blaster turbo with the track. And I will end up doing an episode covering all of the Jet Blaster lineup for you guys and how it can help you out with your racing needs and your maintenance needs. We've got an extra 32 ounces of chassis wash. Just in case it's a super muddy day at the track, I'm covered on chassis wash. The Moo Slick Silicone, the electrical cleaner and degreaser, always at the track with me, guaranteed. Normally, I don't take the ultra thin oil with PTFE or the ultra light grease with me because I have spare bearings set up ready to go that I've already prepped. And I do that at home before hitting the track. Can't wait for the Blaster episode. Trust me, I'm looking forward to that one too because I got some, I used to call it like pet peeves relating to air compressors and stuff, but that'll be a really fun episode. So continue digging through the bag. A drill to run with a homemade tire wash station. This is a 9mm sized ammo can, so fits down in the bag very well along with everything else. Oh, we're going to keep going. We're not done yet. Always a couple of extra microfiber towels stuffed in here. Wow, I got a lot of them. I actually have 3 stuffed in here. The Jet Blaster Mini. And I'll show you guys where I'm pulling all this from, because there's a nice little side pocket in here. The tire brush from CowRC. I actually was using that this weekend. I had some really stubborn clay that didn't want to come out of my tires. Small stuff, little business cards. That's the main gist of everything, and that's a lot to take to the track. But when you look inside here, there's still some more small stuff in here. You've got a nice interior pocket. You've got a smaller one up here towards the top. And then you've got a really gratuitous side pocket further down. But they even were nice enough to continue the theme on the inside of the bags. So they look absolutely phenomenal. So that's almost everything other than the kitchen sink inside the CowRC duffel bags. And now that this thing's not so heavy, I can kind of give you guys a better look at it. And the zippers are really nice quality. I have never had issues with the zippers sticking, binding, or anything. But there you go. Just a nice, beautiful CowRC duffel bag. And again, keep in mind, this is the factory team edition. These were prize giveaways for the factory team. So this particular theme is not available in the bags, but all the regular CowRC themes are available. And again, the incredible graphics all the way around the bag and this nice big full-size mesh pocket. So I got so much stuff around me now after taking it out of that bag, I can't move. So there's a handful of great ways that CowRC can help keep you organized and help keeping you moving to and from the track as tidy as possible. It is definitely a high quality, nice bag. There's nothing like low quality about it, just like everything with CowRC. Absolutely a phenomenal product to keep all of my CowRC products in, ready to go. Scott, thank you, sir. Thank you. What's going on, man? Need a bag for the brushes to take to a track. Never know. Could be an option, Jason. Heath's always got his eyes and ears open. Just like CowTech with Adam and Tyler, there's a lot of things that have come to be and come to fruition from Cow, from viewers and, your comments, So keep them rolling in. Definitely could be something. That homemade tire. James, look me up on Facebook, Zack Cater. I can go over it with you. Nothing real fancy to it. They're, fairly economical the way that I done mine. Zippered bags work great for brushes. There you go, possible options. So, hold all the brushes. Let's see, 3D print stand to hold all the brushes and tools on top of the workbench. Hey, well, actually, if you go onto the CowRC website, there are new holders for all the brushes to actually, like, whether you want to mount to, a wall or the end of a cabinet. There's options for that are out there now too that have been recently released. So, guys, for the most part, that pretty much covers everything that I wanted to go over tonight. Show you guys, some simple shock maintenance. Again, Utter Butter, Moose Slick Silicone are your friend when it comes to maintaining your shocks, keeping those O-rings nice and sealed. And again, Utter Butter will not swell up the O-rings in the bottom of your shock housings. So one less thing you got to worry about. And again, if you put the Moose Slick Silicone on your shock shafts, let the shaft sit. Let the silicone actually cure. Keep that in mind, guys. So check up on some last comments from you guys. Johnny, Thanks, buddy. Always appreciate you tuning in. Again, RC for us, man, it's on it. If you're on YouTube, hit that like and subscribe button for CowRC. The same thing, you guys are on Facebook. Feel free to help share this out across Facebook. Get CowRC out there in that algorithm. Mr. Ghost, thank you, sir. I'll stay on here for another minute or two. Anybody has any questions, try to answer them for you. As well, guys, if you guys ever want to see something CowRC related on here, related to racing that I can possibly help try to, explain or cover for you guys, feel free, message me, on Facebook. You can find me this side, Zack Cater, pretty easy to find on there. The same thing, go to the CowRC fan page, drop some info down there. If I can cover something for you guys, I absolutely will. Jason, buddy, I will see you out there. Thank you, sir. Thank you, guys. Again, appreciate all you guys, tuning in tonight with the big bowl game going on. So it means a lot to me, you guys taking the time to do that. Awesome show. Duffel is next on my list. Bob, man, you will not regret it. The duffel bag. It's great to just keep everything in it, especially, for all, racing related stuff, and just scoop it up, throw it in the truck, and go. Bedtime, good night. Hey, I'm not far from it, man. I had a pretty late night last night. So, lastly, again, guys, the Operation 11 Charlie build, for the giveaway. Take advantage of those tickets because time's running out on that one. That truck's going to be given away. Should be by the end of this month. So just $1 goes towards an amazing cause. Gets you the shot at a epically sweet Traxxas. So don't forget about that one, guys. And that's kind of it for me. I'm going to get out of here. And I know there's a little bit of scheduling change with, Adam and Tyler shows and mine. So I'll be back in a couple of weeks. And I don't know what I'm going to get into, man. I might just, be lonely, not getting to talk to you guys. So that's it for me, guys. I'm out of here. Again, thank you all for tuning in. God bless you.